Welcome to Bullshit Incorporated. I'm Wyatt, and I'm here with Jeffrey. And this is going to be our podcast. We're going to talk about anything from the WWE to the NFL to NCAA, movies, video games, TV, whatever we can get our hands on, really. I know I'm not too big a fan of the NCAA, so in order to prepare for this podcast, I had to do some studying up.
And I'm not too big into WWE, so I had to start binging that.
But we're going to try our best, and we're going to see what we can get done. We're going to be recording our episodes on Mondays and releasing them on Wednesdays. So that means that when we talk about the WWE, it'll be the previous Monday's Raw, the SmackDown before, and if there was a pay-per-view, the pay-per-view that just happened. When we talk about the NFL, we will not have watched the Monday night games yet. We will be the previous Monday to Thursday Night Football and all of the Sunday games. Same thing with the NCAA. If there happens to be an odd game during the playoffs or whatever, we'll just be talking about what's happened up to Monday. Anything else you'd like to add? Or
Not really. That's pretty much the basis. And then whatever gaming, TV, movie news is prevalent or any stories we've heard, we're going to discuss that, go over it.
So, yeah, we'll see what we can do, and welcome to our podcast. So to kick things off, I think we're going to start with the NCAA.
Yes.
This week, not a whole lot changed. The top four teams stayed undefeated, and Tennessee won their game as well. So, going into the college football playoffs, you have most likely an undefeated Georgia, an undefeated TCU, one undefeated
Ohio State or Michigan.
And then, wrestling for that fourth spot, you have the loser of Ohio State, Michigan,
and Tennessee.
What do you think's going to happen?
I'm thinking that Ohio State, Michigan is just going to be, whoever's there is going to get knocked out of the top four. And it's going to be, I think they're going to put Tennessee at fourth spot.
Okay, so you think our college football picture is going to be Georgia, TCU, the winner of Ohio State, Michigan, and Tennessee?
Yes. Those are the top four. 5, 6 is probably going to be the loser of Ohio State, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's kind of a toss-up right now.
Go to LSU, Clemson?
LSU, Clemson is probably going to be the last spot.
Okay. Do you think AP puts in
I think LSU is going to get it.
You think LSU gets the
I think Clemson
spot?
has been sloppy, and they're kind of...
They lost to Notre Dame.
Yeah, they're fraudulent. I don't think they've got it. LSU, however, not so much at the beginning of the season, but now, later season, they've clearly picked up to the point where I think LSU
to the point
definitely...
That they beat Bama.
Yes, I think they definitely picked up to the point where they're going to be above Clemson.
By the way, Bama's hopes and dreams are absolutely dashed.
Finally. It's been 10 years, but they finally are not going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. So, let me ask you this question. If the season ended today, college football season ended today, who do you think wins the Heisman?
I'm not sure. I think Hooker has a good chance. Even
with the loss?
Yeah. I mean, he's still dominant. It doesn't... I don't think the loss shows too much. I think he's still dominant to the point... Like, no other players really show that well.
Okay.
Who's Ohio State quarterback?
C.J. Stroud.
Him.
That's who my pick is.
Yeah. It's either Stroud... If they want to be different... If it's not Stroud, I think it's going to be Hooker. Because even with the loss, he's still been dominant.
I can see it. I think it goes to... Especially if Ohio State wins out.
Yeah.
Like, if they beat Michigan and they win out this season, I think it goes
It'll be
Stroud.
But if Michigan wins and beats Ohio State, I think it's going to be a coin flip between
Hooker and Stroud.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me bring you to my next question, and give me a second to look this up here. So you have... What is Georgia's quarterback's name?
Stetson Bennett?
Sure, sounds good. And he's a senior or a junior?
He's a senior.
He's a senior? Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, you have C.J. Stroud, Bama's quarterback.
Bryce Young.
Jesus. I'm not good with names.
No.
Anyways, so you have C.J. Stroud, Young, Hendon Hooker, and Georgia's quarterback all going into the draft next year.
Mm-hmm.
If the season ends today, you have the Texans have... The NFL season ends today. You have the Texans having the number 1 pick, followed up by the Raiders, the Broncos, there was one more that I'm missing. The Jags, and then the Panthers and Saints all following up behind the Texans. Who do you think goes where? Because I'm assuming those 4 quarterbacks are all round 1 picks.
I think so. I think Stetson Bennett or Bryce Young will be the first round.
Okay.
Especially if it's
like first overall, you mean?
Yeah, first. They're
Okay.
the first pick. Because they have been dominant in their teams
And they have
for forever.
SEC names
Yes.
behind them? Yeah, okay.
I think Bryce Young is more likely to be picked first round. He won the Heisman last year.
Okay.
And I just think he's going first.
So you think he goes to the Texans?
Yes. And then Stetson, and then Hooker, and then whoever was fourth.
CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
The
and
LSU
Stroud.
quarterback. Okay. So where do you think that leaves the, let's say, just for argument's sake, Young goes to the Texans, and then we'll say Stetson Bennett goes to the Jags, and then...
You think the Jags are going to take a new quarterback? Or you think they're going to try to keep kicking with Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence hasn't been showing all that. Like, a lot of the Jags' problems are at the hands of Trevor Lawrence. They're not at the hands of
Anybody
the
else?
coach or the wide receivers or anything like that. I think the Jags could take a new quarterback. I also could see them trying to... Like, I could see if the Jags end up with a losing record this season, they fire their head coach.
That's fair. I just think that all the other teams that are bottom pick, that are going to get first round picks,
Yeah.
are... Nobody has a great quarterback, and I think the only team with a decent quarterback right now in the bottom picks is Jacksonville.
Okay.
I think Trevor Lawrence, I don't see them taking a quarterback first round if they have still Trevor Lawrence, who's not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if he has some weapons on receivers, a receiving core, he could start doing things better.
Okay, so then let's put the Jags out of it. So that brings the Texans with the number 1 pick, then Saints, Panthers. I don't think the Bears are going to take a new quarterback because they have Justin Fields, who's been doing amazing. I don't think the Rams are going to take a new quarterback. They have Matt Stafford, who just led them to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders. And I think Derek Carr is on his way out.
Yeah, I don't think Carr's got much more in him.
So I think the Raiders end up with the number 2 pick right now. So I think they take Stetson Bennett. I think Derek Carr is on his way out of that franchise. And then you end up with the Panthers and the Saints as the 3 and 4.
I could see all 4 of those quarterbacks going immediately with those picks.
Who's the starter in New Orleans right now? Is it Dalton or is it James Winston?
I don't think it matters. I think they both suck. I'm going to be real with you. If they have a chance at any of these quarterbacks, they're going to take it.
Okay. I don't even know who the quarterback in Carolina is. I know it was Baker Mayfield, but I think they benched him.
Same thing. Like, all of these teams have no strong quarterbacks. I can't see them not taking these college players who have clearly dominated in their field for the past 4 years.
All right. So, on that note, let's get into the NFL then.
All right.
This week, a lot happened. Number 1, the Bills are no longer number 1 in the AFC East after their loss to
After the
Minnesota.
Vikings? Yeah.
Right now, the AFC East is led by the Dolphins.
The AFC East is a mess of a conference right now because all of their teams are really good.
Yeah.
So,
They are...
the Patriots have to be on the bottom, but in any other conference, they would not be the bottom team.
They are the only division in football where
Everybody's a winning record?
team has a winning record right now.
That's going to be whenever the playoffs come, that's going to be the division to look for.
Yeah, of course. I think the Jets are good, but they're not great.
Yeah, I don't see the Jets actually going... I don't think
The
they're going to
Jets
be the
should
ones.
not be the wild card contender right
No.
now, which they are. The Jets are only ranked 2nd and not 3rd because they beat Buffalo.
I think Buffalo's a better team. I think that was a lucky win.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I can't see the Jets genuinely getting anywhere near the playoffs this year.
Right now, the number 1 seed in the AFC, however, is the Chiefs.
That's completely understandable. The
Yeah.
Chiefs have been just it this year.
You got the Chiefs, then the Dolphins, and then the Ravens, Titans, and Jets are all tied, and the Bills are all tied there at the 3rd slot.
I genuinely think that if anybody's giving them a run for their money, the Chiefs, it's going to be the Dolphins or the Bills.
100%.
I think outside of those
at least
three
in
teams,
the AFC.
Yeah, obviously. Outside of those 3 teams, nobody in the AFC really has, I feel like, stands a real chance. I mean, the Dolphins have Waddle and Hill, who are consistently just running over people every week. Like, they just have the yardage.
I do want to get
scores.
into Tyreek Hill a little later with another point I want to bring up, but we'll get into that in a minute. The NFC, however, is a mess. Like, what is happening in the NFC? You have the Eagles undefeated. As previously mentioned, we record this Monday afternoon.
We don't know if
so,
the Commanders beat them.
As of right now, the Eagles are undefeated at 8-0. Then you have the Giants are 7-2.
It's so weird the Giants are that good.
Right? You have the Seahawks at 6-4. The Vikings at 8-1. With the Packers, one of the worst looking teams in football, second in that division at 4-6. Like, the Vikings are so far above everyone else in their division, it's crazy.
It's unfair.
And then the dumpster fire, previously known as the NFC South.
Yeah.
Where there is one winning team, and it's the Bucks at a 500 win percentage.
Listen, I don't know what has happened, but I think it's time for Brady and Rodgers to just call it a day.
The NFC South and the NFC North amaze me this season. Like, there is no team in the NFC South with a winning record because the Bucks are 500.
5-5. Yeah.
And there is no one team in the NFC North with a winning record, and it's not the Packers.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota is the NFC team.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the Eagles have been great.
And Minnesota crumbles in the playoffs every time.
That's fair. Regular season, I'm saying, I feel like the Vikings have the player, like, the skill they need.
Yes. As we saw in that Buffalo game, Justin Jefferson is one of the best receivers in the game.
Yeah, they have the players. They need to stay cohesive throughout the season is the issue.
I think they stay cohesive. I think they end the season as the number 2 seed in the NFC.
I can see that.
Eagles, because
yeah,
I would not be surprised if the Eagles win out the season.
I don't think they're going to lose tonight, especially.
What does the rest of the Eagles' schedule look like?
I don't see... Listen, if the Commanders beat the Eagles, it's going to be an insane upset.
If the Commanders beat the Eagles, there are going to be riots especially because that's a conference.
It's in conference, yes.
So they play the Colts, the Colts are their own dumpster fire right now.
Yeah, there's no way that...
They play the Packers, who, if they can get their receiving core together, maybe, but...
I still don't see it.
Me neither. The Titans, if the Eagles can block the run game from Derrick Henry, they're golden.
Yeah. The
Giants, I really don't see much. The Bears have Justin Fields, who runs like he's a running back, not a quarterback. Did you see that video of Mike McDaniel, the Dolphins head coach, after their game with the Bears?
No.
Mike McDaniel was like, I just wanted him to stop running, and he wouldn't listen. And it was really irritating because he just wouldn't listen. But, and then they have the Cowboys, Saints, and Giants again to finish off the...
I think if they're going to catch a loss, it's going to be the Giants.
I agree.
Especially playing them 2 times.
I could see the Titans.
I mean, maybe the Titans, but I think if it's going to happen, it's going to be the Giants. Especially if the Giants have 2 shots at it.
Do the Eagles play the Titans on Derrick Henry's birthday again? Just need to make sure. So I could see the Eagles winning out the season and being the number 1 seed. And I could see the Vikings following up behind them, which by proxy means the Vikings do not get the first round bye.
Yeah.
So, if the season ended today, who is the 7 seed? So we got Eagles at 1, Vikings at 2, Giants at 3, and then Cowboys at 4. Jesus Christ. That's 3 of the 4 teams in the NFC East in the playoffs right now. Anyways, Giants at 4.
It's a mess.
Seahawks at 6. And...
Is it the Bucks?
Yeah, because the Niners wouldn't be able to make it into the wild card at that point. It would be the Bucks.
So it would be,
Vikings
Bucks
in the first round.
I mean, if you're going to crumble to anybody, it's going to be Brady in the playoffs.
100%. And then, yeah, so I could see the NFC Championship being...
That's going to be a mess, period.
It couldn't even be Eagles-Bucks, because that second round would be Eagles-Bucks.
Yeah.
That divisional round would be Eagles-Bucks. However, it's crazy that the wild card right now would end up being the Giants and the Cowboys.
Really?
Yeah. Because, so you have the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Vikings, and the Bucks getting in. Then the two teams with the highest win percentage after that are the Giants and the Cowboys. With the Niners barely missing out. Like, if the Niners manage to beat a couple people and the Cowboys start losing, you could get the Niners instead of the Cowboys.
I mean, I really feel like...
However, the Niners have a wreck of a schedule coming up. They play Arizona and New Orleans, which is fine. However, then they play the Dolphins, then Tampa, then Seattle.
They're not winning all those games. No. They'd be lucky to win one of those games.
And then they play Washington, Las Vegas, and Arizona again. So they've got a 2-game easy stretch, a 3-game really difficult stretch, and then a 3-game pretty easy stretch.
So what are you thinking for the Super Bowl? What do you think it's going to end up being? If you had to go just a shot from right here.
If I have to decide right now?
Yes.
I think the AFC Championship is going to be Dolphins, Chiefs.
Okay.
Because I think the Bills end up losing.
I can see that.
And then I think the NFC Championship, I hope, is going to be Eagles-Bucks.
Eagles-Bucks?
I don't think it's...
Yeah.
The Eagles need to win several, and either the Seahawks or... Who's the other leader in that division? Either the Seahawks or the Vikings need to start losing some, so that the seeds work out to where the Bucks would end up playing the Eagles in the NFC Championship.
So you think we do have a chance at another Bucks-Chiefs Super Bowl?
I think there's a shot, yeah. I think there's a shot only because the NFC South is a dumpster fire this year. I think there's
because the Bucks have an easy path.
I think there is a shot only because the Falcons, Panthers, and Saints can't stop the Bucks from leading the division.
Yeah.
It's not that Brady is good this year.
It's just that everybody around him is terrible.
Is terrible. And it's like, I mean, okay, Brady has been coming back a little bit.
Yeah, he's been building up.
The Rams and then against the Seahawks in Germany. Both were looking pretty good. I think Rachaad White coming in instead of Leonard Fournette was big for them.
Where was the Germany game? What city?
That's a great question. If I had to guess, Frankfurt, Munich, somewhere in there. Berlin, maybe. I don't know. A city in Germany.
Valid.
But he's working on it. What's the rest of the Bucs schedule looking like? He's got the Browns, which I think he does fairly easily.
Yes, I agree.
Is Deshaun Watson back yet? Or is he going to be by next week?
I have actually no idea. 1 second.
Okay. Then he has the Saints, who I'm pretty sure he can manage
Handle.
with. The 49ers might give him some trouble. The Bengals, I don't think Jamar Chase is back yet, so I think they can handle the Bengals. The Cardinals, let's just hope that no COD content drops yet. And then the Panthers and the Falcons.
Watson is suspended.
Until when, though?
Does
he, I think he got a 12-week suspension, and this is week 11, so if I'm wrong by 1 week...
I think we're off by 1 week.
Okay.
Tampa Bay is the 12th week.
Okay. So he's going to end up playing not Deshaun Watson?
Not Deshaun
Whoever that backup quarterback is?
Yeah.
Davis Mills, is that who it is? That might be the Texans quarterback.
I'm going to be real with you. I have zero idea.
All of those crappy subpar quarterbacks. Anyways. Whoever the Browns end up being, I think they end up handling them. Do they play the Bengals? Where do they play the Bengals? They play the Bengals at home, and I think without Jamar Chase. So I think that bodes well for them.
Play the Bengals and without Jamar Chase?
Yeah. They play the Bengals at Raymond James without Jamar Chase.
I think they have that.
The one that I see giving them the biggest problem is the 49ers.
The 49ers are... I feel like the 49ers are always the mid-team that has a chance to mess everybody else up.
Especially with CMC now.
Yeah. Like, the 49ers, I feel like, haven't been great since, Super Bowl 47 with Kaepernick?
Yeah.
But they've always been a factor.
They're always that team that can screw up your plans but not help their own.
Exactly.
But even...
It was Munich, by the way.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
So they got to play the Saints twice, the Falcons once for the rest of the season.
Yeah. I don't think anybody in that division's going to...
I think the Bucs win the NFC South.
By far.
Unless the Falcons decide to figure out what they're doing over there.
I don't think they can do that before the season's out. If anything...
They have that backup quarterback that they're not using.
I just feel like everybody else in the...
And they're not using Kyle Pitts
in that division is just... Exactly. Like, there's no way that they can think about beating the Bucs as long as they're being this sloppy.
Kyle Pitts, the second biggest bust in fantasy this year. Right behind Jonathan Taylor, who, by the way, I took first overall.
Great pick.
Yeah, thank you. Jonathan Taylor, who has sat on my bench for several weeks now.
To be fair, I did pick Rodgers first overall, and that wasn't a great pick either.
Anyways. Oh, we didn't talk about Cooper Kupp's injury either, which is also large for our fantasy team or fantasy league. Zach.
Zach has Kupp. That's great because he's been dominating.
So that's big for our fantasy league, but also big for the NFL in general.
Yeah, I think it's big for everybody's fantasy league. I think he's 99. Like, he's almost in every league. So this is going to disrupt a lot of people.
And I don't think there's a lot of ways to recover.
No, he is the weapon on the team.
Because do the Rams even have, like, a really good wide receiver, too?
I don't know. And even if they do, there's no way that
he
gets overshadowed by Kupp.
From this?
What?
OBJ re-signs with the Rams. Because he's a free agent right now.
That would be insane.
You know who's sitting on my bench in fantasy right now?
OBJ?
Yeah. I was watching a press release from him the other day that he was hoping to sign with the team by the end of November. And I went and was like, listen, I've got this bench spot that's currently sitting to a defense that I never play. So, we're going to drop that, pick up OBJ, and then when he does sign with the team, I have him and nobody else does.
Robinson, and then, yeah. I don't think any other receiver on
So, yeah, I could see, especially if this is... I know they said it wasn't season-ending. However, they said that he was most likely not going to make a return in Week 11. Week 12 was day-to-day, and it's go from there.
Yeah.
I could see OBJ re-signing with the Rams.
I mean, I think it's a good decision either way. That way they could have a good receiver for 11-12 secured. Mm-hmm. And even when it comes to the rest of the season, having two receivers
Cooper Kupp and OBJ, that's
having two receivers you can rely on that heavily would help. I mean, what are their standings right now?
What, the Rams?
The Rams. Do they have a chance at back-to-back Super Bowls?
No.
No? Is it that
They're
bad?
last in the NFC West.
Oh, Jesus.
And that's with Modern Warfare 2 dropping. So, they have a 1/3 win percentage. They're 3-6.
Yeah. I don't know about...
They're behind the Cardinals, the Niners, and the Seahawks.
I mean, that division's not great.
With Geno Smith playing the way he is, I think the Seahawks absolutely win out that division.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Niners are going to let the Rams win.
Again, the Niners just being the blockade for everybody else to have a good time.
I think it's going to end up being... It's either going to end up being the Giants and the Cowboys as the wild cards in the NFC, or one of those teams and the Niners as the wild cards.
But I think even then, if you get OBJ, you get Kupp, and you have Stafford, if you can fine-tune that for the rest of this season, next season you could be dominant. Unless
OBJ retires next season.
He's
getting old.
He is getting old. But I feel like if you get signed off... I think if he can make one more season, he gets good on the Rams.
Does he have a ring with the Giants? Was he there for their second Super Bowl against the Pats?
Maybe?
I don't know when he got drafted.
So he has one ring.
Okay, then it's just with the Rams last year?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I could see him sticking around in hopes that he can get another one.
I can see that.
I could also see him signing with the Bills in hopes that he can get another one. Especially after Von Miller went to the Bills.
If he goes to the Bills, I think it's not going to be fair next year.
If he goes to the Bills, it's all over. The Chiefs no longer are the contender of the AFC. Yeah. It's the Bills and the Bills only. So, the next thing I want to talk about, if the season ended today, what do you think the awards would look like?
Like best offensive player, best defensive player?
MVP, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, rookies of the year, coach.
That's a great question. I think defensively, Parsons on the Cowboys.
Hold on. Let's go down the list. So MVP,
Okay.
What is your pick for MVP?
I think Hill has a good chance. He moved to the Dolphins and then proceeded to bring them to the top of their division.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been just dominating.
I can see that. My pick for MVP is Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Because going into the season, I don't think there was anybody outside the state of Pennsylvania that thought the Eagles were going to be undefeated this long into the season.
That is valid. If they continue to be this dominant and stay undefeated, I can't imagine it's not him.
And so I think Tyreek Hill is Offensive Player of the Year.
I can see, yeah. MVP goes to Hurts.
We're seeing how good he is without Patrick Mahomes. We're seeing how great the Dolphins can be with a couple of good wide receivers and their quarterback stays healthy.
Yeah. This really shows that Hill wasn't like Mahomes' tool. He's his own beast of a player.
Mahomes was Hill's tool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think head coach of the year goes to the Dolphins head coach.
Yeah. I can definitely see
because I think everybody thought that at this point in the season the Bills would be number one in the AFC East.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody thinking that the Dolphins were going to be number one.
Yeah.
Like, watching the Bills at the beginning of the season, they were running over everybody.
They started the season running over the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, and so I did not think the Dolphins were going to be it. That division is such a mess. I thought it was going to be Bills, followed by Patriots, and maybe the Dolphins have third.
I think that, and I think defensive player of the year goes to Mike Parsons, like you were saying.
Yeah. I've never seen somebody dominate more than he does. Like, just consistent sacks and just messing up every play that you have planned.
I think offensive rookie of the year goes to Dameon Pierce. I think it would have gone to Breece Hall had Breece Hall not gotten injured. But with him out, I think it ends up going to Dameon Pierce. Because he is the reason that the Texans have won the games that they have won. And then I think defensive rookie of the year absolutely goes to Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
Cornerback, yeah.
I completely agree.
That man he's fun to watch.
Completely.
So, yeah. And then I think the Super Bowl... Oh, I never finished that. I think the Super Bowl ends up being Dolphins-Eagles.
Dolphins-Eagles? That'd be a fun Super Bowl to watch. I would love to watch that.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I think these playoffs are going to be a riot.
I think these playoffs are going to be a mess at a riot. Like, the AFC East, if you could take the Bucks out of the playoffs and just put the whole AFC East in, that would be fine.
It would be much better. Completely agree.
Yeah, like, especially, like, the only reason the Patriots are the bottom of their division is because they can't figure out what to do as a starting quarterback.
Is it technically Mac Jones right now?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But
Bailey Zappi comes in every so often.
It's a coin toss as to who actually is playing.
Listen, if Nick Folk's got an arm on him, put him at quarterback. He might do better. Or start playing soccer rules and put Nick Folk at quarterback. So yeah, that's where I think the NFL is heading. I would like to talk a little bit on the WWE, because I know you watched... Did you watch all of Crown Jewel, or just part of it?
I watched the first half and a lot of highlights.
Okay.
I didn't watch the main match,
but I... pull up the match. Roman, Logan Paul.
Yeah, I didn't watch...
Okay.
I watched the highlights. I know who won.
Yeah, because the WWE's a pussy, but... Anyway.
It would have been an insane move by the WWE if Logan won.
I think I would have stopped watching WWE if Logan had won. Like, I was talking to my dad about it, and no. You can't have him steamroll Brock. God knows how many times he's steamrolled Brock now. And then have him lose to Logan.
Like this just kid who wanted to do WWE from YouTube just...
I think Logan is going to be a great wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
One day.
His showmanship alone shows that he can do it very well.
One day. I don't think he's
not
there
today.
Yet. Yeah. So, you had the opener was Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Did you watch that match?
I did watch that match. That was a mess.
I think that during that match, Brock Lesnar
genuinely got hurt.
I think he hurt something, and they had to call the match early.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that was supposed to be a squash match. I don't think that was supposed to be the way it went.
I think it was his knee on the staircase. Like, he genuinely, like, banged up the knee.
It's probable, but you could... When he jumped into the corner and, like, bounced off and threw Bobby back, he said something, and I think he was telling Bobby to end
Like, we gotta cut it?
Yeah. I don't think that's how that match was supposed to end, but it didn't help the rest of this show. And I'll get to that in a minute.
No, it was definitely... At least the first two matches were rather rocky.
Then you had Damage Control versus Alexa Bliss and Asuka.
It was fun.
That match plays into another thing that I don't like about the WWE, but we'll get to that in a minute because the next one ended up the same way. Actually, the next two ended up the same way. Then you had Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross.
That was probably my favorite match.
That match was great. However, the ending was terrible. And once again, we'll get to it in 1 second right after this match. And then you had the Judgment Day versus the OC.
I did watch that.
Okay. This brings me to the problem that I'm having with WWE right now. They cannot just end a match. Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley is whatever because I think Brock got hurt, but it was still a squash match and it shouldn't have been. Then you have Damage Control and versus Alexa Bliss and Asuka, where you have the perfect setup with The Fiend having come back at Extreme Rules, and he could be the way that you distract Alexa so that Damage Control wins, but you don't have him end the match. Like, if you have the Fiend logo show up on the Titantron, or if you have the Fiend show up at the top of the ramp, that's fine, and it distracts Alexa so Damage Control gets the win. That's fine. But instead you have Nikki Cross come out of the crowd from nowhere
and just throw her down.
And
then just leave.
Yeah, and then you have Scarlett interfering in the Drew McIntyre-Karrion Kross match so that Drew wins. And then you have Rhea Ripley getting into the Judgment Day match like she does every time the Judgment Day fight. And it's like especially with the Judgment Day, I don't know if they've won a match yet without Rhea getting involved.
Without her getting involved?
And it's terrible. Like,
I really was enjoying that. I was enjoying that match a lot.
It was a great match right up until Rhea got involved. And it's like, if you could just let them have a match, you would be doing so much better. But ending all these matches like this, it's terrible.
With the interference. The interference has to be a part of every match.
Oh my god. And it's like, especially with the Judgment Day, like, the Judgment Day could be great. You have Finn Balor, who is an amazing wrestler. Damian Priest, who, he's not a, tremendous wrestler, but he's a great showman.
Yeah. And
then you have Dominic, who has that name factor with the Mysterio.
I didn't know Mysterio's son was in wrestling, by the way, until I watched this.
He just started recently, he started during the pandemic, but anyways, you have a name factor, you have a showman, and you have a great wrestler, and then you have Rhea Ripley there for, support. And it's like, you don't need to end these matches in interference. Like, they could put on great matches, especially against the OC, who are also amazing wrestlers. And when they were doing it with just the three of them, Balor, Priest, and Ripley, against Edge and both the Mysterios, they could have had some amazing matches, but every time Rhea Ripley has to get involved. And it's like, I just hate that they have to keep doing this interference gig.
To get, they keep doing the interference to, get a little bit of show in there, but it's great without it.
Or you have 3 matches that ended with interference. Have one of those end with interference. That's fine. If I was the WWE, I would have had, like I said, the Fiend or the Fiend logo show up somehow and distract Alexa. So that Damage Control wins.
Not have what's her name? I'm blanking. Nikki Cross just come in and
and it's
throw her down.
That would have been some great interference, especially because Alexa has history with the Fiend and all that. And it's like, but instead you ended 3 matches back to back to back with interference, and it's like, you don't have to do that. You have some great wrestlers on the roster. Good lord. Anyways, then you had Braun Strowman versus Omos, which
that is a massive human being.
Which one?
Omos.
Both of them are.
I know, but he's 7'3", 420?
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Anyways, that was a pretty good match. I mean, I don't like Omos, but neither of them are good wrestlers. They are both just...
They're just big guys who can throw people around.
Yeah. But it was a pretty good match nonetheless, and it didn't end in interference, so that was pretty dope.
It was just a match.
So, the Usos are still the Universal, the Undisputed Tag Team Champions, which is great. And if they could keep the tag team championships and disband the Bloodline, that'd be dope. And Bianca Belair is still
That'd be what you wanted?
champion. Yeah.
Disband the Bloodline?
We'll get into the Bloodline in a second, because I have thoughts on the Bloodline.
Lovely.
Bianca defeated Bayley, which I kind of would have preferred went the other way, because, like I said, I think the Raw Women's Championship needs some
livening up. Yeah.
And then Roman defeated Logan Paul.
That would have been crazy if they let Logan win that.
No. My problems with Roman Reigns are as such. Roman Reigns is a great wrestler. He does not need to end every freaking match with interference. Especially from the Usos. Or the Usos' little brother, because the Usos can't get into the country, as is what happened at Clash at the Castle. The Clash at the Castle was in Wales. And because the Usos have a criminal record, they couldn't get work visas to enter the country. Really? So that's why they had to introduce Silas Sikoa.
So they could have the interference.
Yeah. Anyways, regardless, you need to take the titles off of Roman. At least one of them.
Yeah, you can't be the Universal Champion for, what is it now, 2 years?
A little over, I believe.
Yeah.
But, no, that's fine. He can be a champion for over 2 years if he wants to be a champion for over 2 years. But show the hell up. He has defended this championship like 4 times since he won it at WrestleMania. In May, or March, or April, whenever they decided to hold WrestleMania this year. Somewhere in that 3-month span, he has defended it 4 times since then. And it's November. Like, if you're going to be a part-timer, you don't get to hold both world championships. So, here's my plan, and let me know what you think.
Okay.
You have the Royal Rumble. It is widely stated that Cody Rhodes is going to end up returning at the Royal Rumble.
All right.
Because he went out with his torn pec. They say 6 to 8 months. The Royal Rumble was about 5, 6 from when he went out.
All right.
And I think that they're giving him the John Cena treatment. John Cena ended up going out with an injury, and they said it was going to be longer than it was, and then had him return at the Royal Rumble.
So you think they're extending how long he's going to be gone?
I think they're saying it's going to be longer than it is.
So you can make that surprise
yeah.
At the Royal Rumble. Okay.
So
when is the Royal Rumble?
January.
January, okay.
You have a pay-per-view in December. I don't know what it ends up being this year. Historically, it has been TLC, but I think they kind of did away with that now, so I don't know what it is this year. But you have a pay-per-view in December, and then you have the Royal Rumble in January. Cody Rhodes wins the Men's Royal Rumble, right?
Right.
The Men's Royal Rumble guarantees you a title shot at WrestleMania.
Okay.
That is the whole shtick of the Royal Rumble.
Is to get that title shot.
Yes. You have, for a couple of years now, they've been doing a 2-night WrestleMania.
Okay.
So, a Saturday and a Sunday WrestleMania. Night 1, the main event, is Cody versus Roman for whichever title.
Yeah.
Or both. I really don't care. Do
just
both.
A title is on the line.
Put a title on the line, take it off of Roman, give it to Cody.
Okay.
Because, number one, I love the American Nightmare angle they've been doing with Cody Rhodes, even though it got cut short because of his torn pec, but that's regardless, whatever. Take a title off of Roman, give it to Cody. Then, at the end of the match, The Rock comes out. And they finally break up this godforsaken bloodline angle with The Rock being like, you're using our name for this, blah, 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 blah. All
and
this,
he rips
this,
it apart.
That, and the other thing. Rips it down. And Roman is halfway decent on the mic. Paul Heyman is halfway decent on the mic. The Rock is
the king on the mic.
Leaps and bounds above anybody else on the mic. So it would work perfectly.
He's that iconic voice on the mic.
It's not even just the voice. It's like, if you go watch some of his highlights on the mic, the way he just gets everything off, like, flawlessly. Oh my god, there's nothing like it. Anyways, so, night 2, do not have a title on the line for this match. Whether Cody took both, or it's just there's not a title on the line for this, whatever. The title on the line for this match is the title of Tribal Chief.
With The Rock versus Roman?
The Rock versus Roman.
When was the last time The Rock was in a match? How long ago was that?
WrestleMania 28.
Which was?
No, 29. 2012.
2012. So
2012,
it's been
2013.
10 years?
Yeah. Give or take. So, he fought John Cena for a world championship, and I believe he lost to John Cena.
Okay.
They went back-to-back at 28-29.
Okay.
But regardless, night 2 of WrestleMania next year is The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the title of Tribal Chief. And The Rock wins. Finally breaks up that godforsaken bloodline angle.
How long has that been going on?
2021-ish. Late pandemic kind of thing. I don't know. Somewhere in there.
Alright.
But anyways, you get rid of the bloodline. You take at least one, if not both, titles off of Roman. And he can still be this dominant force in the WWE if that's what you want him to be. But he can't be unstoppable. And he can't be both champions if he's going to be a part-timer.
So you think they need to get those titles out of his hands?
At least one of them.
Okay. That way
you need to have a world title that can be
moved around.
Yeah.
Instead of him just holding it for so long. You can't have the guy who's only there a couple times a year being the one that has it all the time.
If you want to give him like a Brock Lesnar type deal where he comes back once every 4 or 5 months, wins a title, sticks around for 2 months, gives it up, screws off to the great beyond again, that's fine.
That's fine.
Like, he can do that. He's earned that right.
But to have him hold it for so long straight...
And hold both of them. Like, there are no world titles right now.
He's just holding them?
Yeah. He's just kind of sitting there with them. And it just pisses me off to no end because there's no reason for it. You have...
Those are stakes that can so easily be put into a show to, like, have people watch it, but he's just sitting there with it. So...
And now, I will give the WWE credit. I think there are a couple of times where Roman was supposed to lose the titles, but shit hit the fan. Okay. I think at SummerSlam, he was supposed to lose one of them to Randy Orton.
Okay.
But Randy got injured before SummerSlam, so that didn't end up happening. I think before Cody went out with injury, Cody was supposed to win one of them previous to the Royal Rumble.
So you think that the next time they have, like, a big event like this, it's going to be lost? Like, after WrestleMania, whenever they do?
What do you mean?
So you're saying that you think they've planned to lose one of the titles?
I think since at least SummerSlam they had been trying to take one of the titles off of him.
So you think that's going to happen?
I think it ends up happening next year at WrestleMania.
Okay.
But I think Randy was supposed to take one of them at SummerSlam but got injured. I think Cody was supposed to take one of them at some point but got injured. And I think that Drew McIntyre was supposed to take him at Clash of the Castle. But it got leaked that Drew McIntyre was supposed to take him, and the
so they had to change
was
it.
Like, no, we can't do that. This and the other thing. Even though you definitely still could have done it, and you should have done it. You should have given Drew McIntyre his moment in Wales to win both the titles. But I'll step off my soapbox for now. That's my piece on Roman Reigns.
All right.
What else do we got going on? Oh, I'm just gonna exit everything that I need to be in, apparently. All right.
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever. What are your feelings on Wakanda Forever? I want to let you go before I go.
So, from what I've seen, I am excited that Namor's going to be... I like adding a new character. I love the Atlanteans, or whatever you want to call them, being added in. I'm excited for that. Of course, I think this can be a great movie. It's going to be hard to make it good, though, because everybody obviously wanted Chadwick Boseman, but that clearly can't happen. So I think it's going to be very difficult to live up to people's expectations because you have to change the helm of Black Panther like this.
I agree, and I'm excited to see what they do, but I don't know how it's going to go.
It's going to be a mess. Like, I can already see...
Is it out yet?
I think it came out like...
Today's the 14th.
I think it came out, I think it came out 3 days ago.
Okay, I have, for what it's worth,
we have not
seen
this movie.
Seen it.
This is complete speculation based on solely the trailer.
Yeah, it came out the 11th. Okay. So I do need to see it. We both need to see it.
We need to see that, yeah.
Anyways, I am cautiously excited.
Agreed. I think that they could make this amazing, set up a whole new story, like set up great characters.
If they screw up Chadwick's legacy, though, I will be
heavily
royally
upset.
Pissed.
Which is another thing they can very easily do. They can very easily just ruin that.
And it's like it's a fine line to tiptoe between like a tribute to him
and just ruining it.
Yeah. And
I hope they can get
I hope and think they can pull it off. But
after that, what's up? Quantumania is after? In December?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm excited. I'm excited for that. So excited.
Let me pull up the rest of the card there. Upcoming.
But yeah, Wakanda Forever, I think, because it's Shuri that's the new
That is the working theory.
Okay.
I mean,
the way she plays that character, I love it. Like, the kind of overly cocky genius.
The next one is the Guardians Holiday Special, which I think is going to be great.
I agree. I love comedic Chris Pratt.
At some point, you have Quantum Mania.
Yeah.
You have Guardians 3.
Yeah.
You have the Marvels.
Okay. The Marvels is going to be a show, right?
No, it's a movie.
It's a movie? Okay.
Yeah. And then you have Deadpool and Blade.
Oh my god, I can't wait for Deadpool.
I cannot wait for Deadpool 3.
It's going to be so good.
Ryan Reynolds can make anything good, though.
Yeah, it's very true.
I'm excited for Quantum Mania. I am, once again, cautiously optimistic about the Marvels.
Yeah. Did you watch the show?
Yeah.
I watched the first couple of episodes, and it felt like a Disney Channel show.
I mean, that's kind of what if they do it properly, it could be great. And I am ecstatic for both the Guardians Holiday Special and Guardians 3.
Yes.
Because I love the Guardians.
I completely agree.
Blade. Did you ever watch Eternals?
I did.
Okay. Are you aware that you saw the post-credit scene?
Yes, with what's his name?
Black Knight.
Yes.
Kit Harington.
Yeah, sure.
The guy who plays Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Kit Harington opens up the case and gets the ebony blade. The voice that whispers to him is Blade.
Oh.
Yeah. It's Mashallah, whatever his name is.
I have no idea.
The guy who's gonna play Blade.
Okay.
That guy. Mahershala Ali.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There you go. Anyways, and apparently Kit Harington is slated
Mahershala
to be in
Ali.
Blade. Sure. And then apparently Kit Harington is slated to be in Blade. So
that should be fun.
I'm excited for it. I don't know a ton about Blade, so there's that.
Who's the other person, the character that showed up at the end of Eternals in the first credit scene?
Oh, Thanos' brother?
Yes.
Harry Styles?
Yeah, I can't remember what the character's name is for the life of me. That Superman-like character.
All I can think of is Star Fox, and I know that's not it. That's a Nintendo character.
That's very different.
I don't know, but yeah.
Speaking of Nintendo,
Harry Styles. What? No. What? Give me a second because we'll get there because I'm very excited about that. But first, I do want to talk about the DCEU because those are on here too.
That's a
adventure.
Yeah, it's almost not an extended universe anymore.
It's an adventure. Apparently, Shazam is slated for 2023. The second Shazam.
Okay.
The Flash is still slated for 2023.
Really? With Ezra Miller?
Aquaman the Lost Kingdom is slated for 2023.
We have a lot of movies that are very questionable for 2023.
And Blue Beetle is slated for 2023.
Who's playing Blue Beetle?
Zolo, Spanish name that I can't pronounce, or a Latino name that I can't pronounce.
All right, fair enough. Because it was John Hamm.
His first name is Zolo.
It was John Hamm back in like the early 2000s, right?
I believe so. But anyways, The Flash and Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if Ezra Miller and Amber Heard are going to be in those two. I can tell you that they should not be in those.
I think
two.
Amber Heard's definitely not going to be in Aquaman because you can still like work around. Like she's not the main character.
Yeah.
The Flash, however, it's hard.
I would love nothing more than for them to finally recast the DCEU Flash.
With the CW Flash?
Yes. He is the perfect Barry Sanders to me.
Yeah?
Gustin Grant, or Grant Gustin, whichever.
I have no idea what his name is.
It's either Gustin Grant or Grant Gustin, one of the two. But I love him as Barry, and
it's just better.
He's especially than Ezra Miller.
They do the same thing they did with Daredevil. Bring the show actor into the MCU.
And then the only thing I'll say about that is Ezra was in The Secrets of Dumbledore. Because he plays Credence.
Oh, he did. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So
that's another series of movies that got kind of really messed up by drama.
By the same dramas, too.
Yeah, like the same two dramas.
Yeah. But regardless, he was in The Secrets of Dumbledore, so I don't know if Hollywood might have just gotten around his misgivings.
I have no idea.
I would love it to be Grant Gustin, though.
I think that would be a much better step.
I wholeheartedly agree, but I don't know that it's going to happen, because I don't know that they want to pay Grant Gustin the money that Grant Gustin wants to pay.
I would love for them to be able to pick and choose which movies they keep, but at this point, it almost feels like they just need to tear it down and build it back up.
Which they can do.
Yeah, I know they can.
Have I told you my theory for the DCEU before?
No, I don't think you have.
Okay, I think the one thing that could save the DCEU and even very possibly propel them above the MCU is Flashpoint and the Crisis series.
Flashpoint redoing everything?
Flashpoint is when Barry goes back in time to save his mom from Fawn, and by doing so changes the future.
Okay.
And he lives in what they call Flashpoint. So it's a different future where his mom lived and all this and that and the other thing, right? And I assume you know about Crisis.
No.
You don't know about Crisis?
No.
Oh, strap in.
Okay.
It started with Crisis on Multiple Earths. So do you know the stages of comics?
What do you mean?
The Bronze Age, the Silver Age, the Golden Age?
Vaguely,
Okay.
yes.
Do you know that you have different... Like, you have the Green Lantern, the Flash. You have those characters, but they change who they are.
Like Wally West.
Wally West.
And
Barry Allen.
Barry Allen, that's now I can think of it. But yeah, you have like the same character,
so
but
Hal
played
Jordan
by a
is
different person.
Yeah, okay. Crisis on Multiple Earths was the Golden Age heroes coming into either the Silver or the Bronze Age, I'm not sure which it was. But you had these heroes and villains all meeting. And it was, I think it was mostly the Golden Age villains fighting the heroes of today. And then came Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is one of the biggest comic undertakings ever, where you basically had every version of every character
all clashing together.
Yes. And it was a lot like Secret Wars in Marvel.
Okay.
Where Battle World and everything happened. But it was like, it is the one thing that could save and propel the DCEU, in my opinion. Because they could reset everything with Flashpoint and then
bring that in.
Rocket off into the stars with the Crisis.
The worst part is, I think they had, like, every actor they cast for the Justice League, I think was a great casting. Like, Henry Cavill as Superman, beautiful. Momoa as Aquaman, beautiful. I don't
know how... Affleck as Batman was my one wary
I think he was really good. Like, Affleck as Batman was still, I feel like, really good.
It depends on the type of Batman, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Because Batman's such a versatile character. It just depends on how you play it.
Like, for the Batman he was playing, he was great, but I personally like a Christian Bale Batman more.
Grittier, darker.
Not even gritty or darker, just like... Ben Affleck Batman is like, guys, I suck. I can't do anything because I don't have superpowers. You
want that, I'm Batman, I'm great.
Yeah.
I don't need superpowers because I'm a genius.
I'm Batman. Not only am I going to kick the shit out of you with my mind, then I'm going to actually just kick the shit out of you.
You want that Batman.
Yeah.
I got that.
And that's exactly what I just said his name.
Christian Bale?
Christian Bale did. Anyways. That's exactly what
Did you like Christian Bale's performance in Love and Thunder? Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god. Amazing.
Christian Bale is one of the best actors on this planet.
Completely agree. He has been hitting classics for, 30 years straight?
Yeah. Christian Bale, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Agree.
Tom Hanks. Jesus.
Completely agree.
And my personal pick, Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne?
Plays Newt.
Oh.
There are a lot of things he's in where it's like Newt is definitely his biggest one.
Yeah.
But he's also in the Trial of the Chicago 7, and he's in a couple of other smaller movies that I've watched, and it's like, he's a great actor.
The only person I want to add to your list is Morgan Freeman.
Okay, agree.
And that is only because Shawshank's my favorite movie, and he is that movie.
Oh my god. We had this conversation the other night, and I can't think of his name again. The new Professor X.
Oh, McAvoy?
Yes. You watched the movie Split, and it's just, he's an amazing actor.
I think that's a great way to mark if an actor is good, if they can play somebody with multiple personalities that well.
Yeah,
like Moon Knight.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Poe.
Yeah, sure. He kills it. The way he plays, because it just feels different. It feels like different people are acting, but it's the same person just handling it.
McAvoy does it, and he plays Poe in Star Wars, and I can't think of, whatever his name is. He also is in Dune.
I didn't watch Dune.
Father. I believe. Anyways, Dune had a stacked cast and was still a mid-ass movie.
That's why I didn't want to watch it.
It had Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Jason Momoa, Oscar Isaac is his name.
Good call. You had to list off Dune to get there.
Oscar Isaac, and I believe it had Josh Brolin as well. So it had a stacked cast and was still like, this isn't a very good movie.
The only other comic book thing that I want to talk about is Into the Spider-Verse 2. Coming out.
Be my guest.
2023, like the beginning. Listen, I think the first Spider-Verse.
This is a hot take.
Oh God.
And I don't know that I want to put this on the internet.
Okay.
I don't like Into the Spider-Verse.
You don't, dude. No. It was so good.
I really don't like Into the Spider-Verse.
I mean, as somebody who's all about cinematics, I thought you would love that movie. Like just the art styles alone clashing.
I've never been a huge fan of animated superhero movies. Animated superhero content in general.
I guess if that's how you feel off rip, I can understand why Into the Spider-Verse wouldn't be your favorite movie.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best comic movies of all time.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think it's a good movie.
I think it was great, and I cannot wait for the second one to come out.
We'll see.
That's neither here nor there.
Anyways, God of War Ragnarok. Have you watched it, played it, done anything with it?
I have not watched a full playthrough. I've seen little bits and pieces.
Okay.
I do, however, think that it's looking like it could be a contender for Game of the Year.
I mean, there's not much else that's come out this year.
Yeah. Just...
If Modern Warfare 2 doesn't win it.
Yeah. How do you feel about Modern Warfare 2? I know you're not a Call of Duty guy, but...
I mean, Modern Warfare 2, I believe, is widely considered to be... Like, the original is widely considered to be the best Call of Duty.
Yeah, that, and it's sometimes put up against, like, Black Ops 2.
Yeah. From what I've seen of the remake, it doesn't look bad. They've changed a lot of stuff, which is pissing off the, like, original Modern Warfare 2 people.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, they remade the game. They're not gonna just... It's a remake, not a remaster.
Yeah, like, it's
my attitude toward it.
I think it's completely different.
The story and everything is the same. It's still Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, it is?
I believe so.
I think you're wrong. I'm almost positive it's, like, completely different and just named the same thing.
That's stupid, then.
I agree, but Call of Duty has kind of a history of deciding we're going to name it the same thing and they make it completely different.
That's really stupid.
That's what they did, like, way back. It was, like, they called Modern Warfare 1... I don't remember. It was, like, Call of Duty 4, and it was, like, Modern Warfare 1 or some stupid stuff like that. The way Call of Duty names their games is terrible.
It was COD, COD 2, COD 3, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare.
Sure.
Like, Modern Warfare 1 was the subtitle for Call of Duty 4.
That's what it is, yeah.
So it's like Black Panther Wakanda Forever was Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
And then you made Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
And it's such a mess the way they name their games. Because Modern Warfare, the current Modern Warfare 2 is completely different than the Modern Warfare from, like, 15 years ago.
I'm not a huge COD guy.
I know.
I need Battlefield to hurry up and
release a new game. I don't know. It's one of those... It seems like it's bringing the community back. Like, because Call of Duty's been kind of fizzling for quite a while now.
I will say, the weapon upgrade system, the stupidest thing Call of Duty could have done.
Where you have to, like, completely use weapons to unlock other weapons and attachments.
It's the fact that for this attachment, I have to use this gun until level 13. But
to get that gun,
I have to use this gun until level 15. And to get that gun, I have to use this gun until level 63.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I love it. I love that kind of... I love the achievements. I love the idea of, like, progression to unlock new things. There's something in my brain that loves that kind of thing.
The way Modern Warfare did, where it was like, to get this attachment for this gun, you have to use this gun until
X level.
It's like, I don't want to use this shotgun to unlock this AR to unlock this attachment for this SMG. Like,
I understand that. I think there is a middle ground between the two that is perfect.
I agree.
And they just decided, you know what, we're going to make it as difficult as possible to unlock every attachment.
And it's like, especially because these are remakes at this point. Like, if they were marketing them as new Call of Duties and not remakes of Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, then
yeah, if they marketed it as a new name, it would be completely different.
I could see them doing it then. But you're marketing it as Modern Warfare 2, a remake of Modern Warfare 2. So
I think it's more of the same characters, different story.
Which is fine.
But it still feels like you're just redoing the game. And, like, in that case, like, why would you go through all this effort to make this new thing?
You're catering to an older crowd who played Modern Warfare 2. Like, Modern Warfare 2 is really even older than us.
Yes.
So,
and at that point, like,
you're catering to an older crowd who has jobs and kids.
So
and
you want a less skill, more chill game.
And you don't want to be like
you don't have to grind for 10 hours to get the gun you want.
And it's like, if they're marketing as a new game to this new generation who has all the time in the world, that's fine. If that's what you want to do.
But don't market as Modern Warfare 2. Market as a new game.
It's the same problem I have with Overwatch 2.
It's the same game?
No, I don't mind that it's the same game, which is fine.
Because it was free?
Yeah, there's that. But the fact that you have to grind for so long. Like, I owned Overwatch 1, so I got the heroes off-rope.
Yeah.
If you didn't, you had to unlock them through the Battle Pass. Now, granted, it was the free Battle Pass that you had to unlock them through, so you didn't have to pay for them. But you had to grind to get those heroes for competitive.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not what you want to do.
You want to be able to play the characters you want.
Yeah. Especially if you're trying to get people into your game. You should give people the ability to play these characters.
That's one of the big issues with the gaming right now, is you want to make everything, you have to unlock every character, every gun, everything, where you either have to grind for hours on end, or you have to drop $200.
The fact that there was a thing that came out that it was easier to get coins through grinding in World of Warcraft and convert them to Blizzard coins than it was to just grind through Overwatch.
Really?
Yeah.
That's whoever did that deserves all the respect in the world.
Like, there was this guy who grinded through World of Warcraft, because you can get gold in World of Warcraft to turn them into World of Warcraft tokens, and then you can turn your World of Warcraft tokens into Blizzard coins. And then you can turn those Blizzard coins into Overwatch coins.
Yeah.
So, it was easier to grind through World of Warcraft, get all this gold, turn it into all this Blizzard coin, and then all this Overwatch coin, than it was to grind through the Overwatch challenges.
To try to actually unlock it in-game. It would just be easier to play a whole different fucking game.
Oh my god. It's like, Blizzard, what do you do? I love Overwatch 2. It is great, in my opinion, because I owned Overwatch 1 and had all the things.
Yeah.
Like,
but all those people who are coming like, oh, they just redid Overwatch, let me go in. They're going to have a tough time trying to get into it.
And all these people online that are like, great new tips for these new hero players, and they're the worst tips ever. It's like, I've seen so many people play Lucio and not use their speed, and I'm like, you have this other ability, right?
They just don't use it. Anyway, back to Ragnarok. I know you've been actively watching.
Yes. I have been watching. I'm going to shout him out here, in case anybody ever sees this and decides to go to him. Jacksepticeye playing Ragnarok. He is one of my favorite YouTubers. He is probably my favorite YouTuber.
That's completely valid. That's a valid statement.
That's another thing I want to touch on in a minute, because I saw a video about it earlier today.
Okay.
But he is my favorite YouTuber ever. Like, I remember being in, like, 7th, 8th grade, and the Shadow of the Colossus remake for PS4 had just come out.
That's a great game, by the way.
Shadow of the Colossus? Oh.
I got it on PS4, and I love it.
I remember watching him play the remake. I remember coming home from school every day, putting the new video on TV, and watching it while I, like, did my homework or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I love Jacksepticeye. And I've been watching him play God of War Ragnarok. In my opinion, I don't think it's as good as the first God of War.
The 2018 one?
Yeah.
I mean, the 2018 one was just all around solid, is the thing.
There's a couple of pacing things that just kind of bother me, and there's a couple of design choices that bother me, and it's like...
Do you like the Thor design?
It depends on who you are. Yes, I like the Thor design.
Because it's true to actual Norse mythology?
It is not MCU Thor.
Oh, I love the Thor design in Ragnarok.
It's like...
God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah. It can't be MCU Thor, because that's...
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, an MCU property. But it's like, it's Norse Thor.
Yeah.
He's a larger Thor, and the hammer isn't square like it is in the MCU. It's an actual hammer.
True Mjolnir. Yeah.
Which is great. I like the Thor design. I am only up to... I don't know how much you've seen.
You can go.
I've only seen Jack play up to where they go to Vanaheim.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, forgot the name. I went on there for a minute. where they go to Vanaheim and he's helping Freya, because that's the most recent part he's uploaded as of today. But so far, I don't think it's as good as God of War 2018, but I think it is very good.
Do you think MW2 has Game of the Year?
That's a statement.
It's an upsetting statement, but the competition's kind of lackluster.
What other games came out this... No, I'm going to be dead honest with you. I think I know what has Game of the Year, and I think it's our next talking point.
What is that?
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Alright.
Because I think a Pokemon game could easily steal Game of the Year, especially this year.
Especially in this climate?
How much have you seen about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet?
Literally not a thing. You can tell me as much as you want.
Okay. The starters, kind of good, kind of not good.
Okay.
I mean, it's the fire starter looks pretty dope. The water starter looks pretty okay. The grass starter, what are you doing?
What is it?
It's a cat, and it starts out on 4 legs. And the entire Pokemon community was like, I swear to God, if you make him go... What?
It's just a grass litten?
Kind of. No, it's a little different, but
okay.
The entire Pokemon community was like, I swear to God, if you make this cat go bipedal by its final evolution, we're gonna lynch you. You know what they did?
Bipedal?
Yep. And it's like, what? That wasn't really necessary, but okay. Other than that, it looks pretty good. Oh, no. You know what has Game of the Year?
What?
Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah. Elden Ring feels like it's been around for so long.
I wholeheartedly agree, but Elden Ring.
Yeah. I think
if it's not Elden Ring, then I think Legends Arceus takes it.
I have to imagine it's going to be Elden Ring.
I wholeheartedly agree. But Elden Ring, Legends Arceus, those are my 2 top runners. With
God of War won in 2018, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't think they're
with my soft rounding out the top 5 being Scarlet and Violet, God of War Ragnarok, and the sneaky pick, the Skywalker Saga.
That would be crazy.
I don't think it's going to happen because it's just a repackaging of all these games that have already happened.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool if it did.
No, I think you're definitely right. I think Elden Ring... I can't see them not picking Elden Ring.
Yeah. I 100% just forgot
I really did think that came out last... I really thought that came out last year, though.
But I looked up 2022 games, and the top is Elden Ring. I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Scarlet and Violet... I'm kind of worried about Scarlet and Violet.
Okay.
Because they're going for some things that if they don't do right could be terrible. The new mechanic is called terastallizing.
Okay.
And it's where you get to change the typing of your Pokemon.
You get to change the typing?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So, like, historically, they've had Z moves, Dynamax, that stuff, like Mega Evolution, stuff like that. This new one is terastallizing, and I don't know if it's once per battle or, like, every so often in battle, you can terastallize your Pokemon, and it'll change its typing. Now, it is unclear as of yet whether this can be to any typing or each Pokemon has a specific typing. But if it's to any typing...
Like, each one has an alternate, like, whenever you do it, this is exactly what it's going to be.
Yes. If it's to any typing, that could be bad. Because then you have Pokemon like Shedinja, who if you terastallize to electric type, Shedinja has an ability called Wonder Guard.
Okay.
Which means it can only be hit by super effective moves.
Okay.
Now this is balanced by the fact that Shedinja only ever has 1 XP, or 1 HP.
Yeah.
So, if something hits it, it's dead, but it's really hard for something to hit it. Now, Shedinja normally, I believe, is Ghost Bug. So it has a decent amount of super effectives, right?
Yeah.
If you terastallize it to electric, the only thing super effective to electric is ground.
So unless they're rocking a ground and
it gets worse.
Okay.
If you have Shedinja hold, I believe the item is called a balloon or an air balloon, something like that, it makes ground type moves ineffective.
So you can effectively make it immune to everything.
Yes.
It's just...
However, if it's like, each Pokemon has a specific type that when you terastallize, it changes to this type. That's fine. I can see that happening.
What if it's random?
I still think... Then they have to have, like, a way to tell, like, certain things don't do this.
Not to do, like, that specific thing?
Yeah. Like, they have to have a way to be like, Shedinja cannot terastallize it to electric type.
Or else the game's broken.
Yeah, that's really bad. And it's an open world Pokemon game.
Like
Legends Arceus.
Yes.
But it still has gym challenges that you can complete in any order.
Really?
So
it's like clashing standard Pokemon with open world
Legends.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Which I don't mind, provided the gyms scale.
Like scale as you go. Like all the gyms aren't X level and stay there. Like
Yeah.
it
Like
scales
normally
as you
the way it
progress.
is, like the first gym leader will have 2 Pokemon, both like under level 15, and then the second gym leader has 2 Pokemon that are like level 20, and then the third gym leader has 3 Pokemon, and these ones are like level 25, right?
There's the natural scaling because it's a progression story.
Yeah. So this one, all of the gym leaders need to have that first level, second level, third level, fourth level. Like, they all need to have levels that they can be.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's like, yeah, you can do them in any order, but you can't do them in any order.
It has to be like, you can pick the order, but once you beat the first one, all the other gyms go up.
Yeah. It's like, so generally there are 8 gyms in a region, right?
Yeah.
You have to have 8 different teams for every gym leader. So that way, like, they can be fought in any order, truly. There are also 3 ways to play this game, apparently. There's the gym challenge.
Okay.
The, like, rivalry challenge, like Team Rocket, stuff like that. And then there's a third one that I'm not 100% sure what it is.
Alright.
So this game is apparently going to be huge.
I think this, by the sounds of it, it could be like a new era of Pokemon type thing, where like it just brings so much in.
I see with that is like from what I've seen of the decks, there aren't a ton of Pokemon in it.
Really?
Like if I was Game Freak doing this game, it would have been like the national dex is in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can catch any Pokemon. If they're gonna make this game as big as it sounds like they're making this game,
all the Pokemon,
it should have been either all the Pokemon or like all of them that aren't starters, legendaries, and mythics.
That makes sense.
So it's like,
I bet you can't wait for people to still crap all over the game because it's not exactly what they wanted as a kid.
Listen, the Pokemon community is a lot like the Star Wars community, okay?
They're not happy either way.
Nobody hates Star Wars as much as Star Wars fans hate Star Wars.
I can attest to that. I think everybody can attest to that.
And it's all the Pokemon is much the same. If Pokemon is not exactly what you wanted, you hate Pokemon. I liked Sword and Shield. I was okay with Sun and Moon. I really didn't like X and Y.
Mm-hmm.
Black and White and Black and White 2 are my favorite Pokemon games, which is, I know, a hot take. I know that Gen 5 being my favorite is a hot-ass take.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I've never played a real Pokemon game.
Really?
Really. Like, I
might be getting my Game Boy and Fire Red at some point.
Deal. Like, I've consumed enough of the media to know a lot of what's going on. But I've never... Like, I have, I think, Shield.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a broke-ass Switch, so it doesn't really matter.
I have Fire Red. I have Diamond and Pearl. I have Omega Ruby. I have X, Y, Sun, Ultra Moon, Black, and Sword and Shield.
So which ones are you missing?
I'm missing Gold, Silver, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Emerald, Ruby, Crystal, Sapphire, Platinum.
Okay.
Either Black or White. I'm not sure which one I have, but I only have one of them. Both Black 2 and White 2. X, Moon, and I think that's it.
I'll be real with you. I didn't realize there were so many Pokemon games.
Red and Blue. And Leaf Green.
Alright.
Well, because the thing about it is, like... and Yellow. Because there are 3 per generation.
Yeah.
So there's always the 2 main titles and then the offshoot title.
The third title.
So, like, first generation you have Red and Blue, and then you have Yellow, which was the special one because you got Pikachu as a starter.
Okay.
Then Gen 2 you had Gold and Silver, and then the offshoot was Crystal, where you got Suicune as your legendary.
So, and it's like that every year.
Yeah, and then Gen 3 was Ruby and Sapphire, and the offshoot was Emerald, where it was Rayquaza. So you have 3 per generation, except in the case of Gen 5, because you had Black and White and Black and White 2.
Alright.
So, yeah. But I have a lot of Pokemon games. I've consumed a lot of Pokemon. And I am...
So you're very cautiously optimistic about the new game?
I think if done properly, it could be the best Pokemon game in a long while.
Or it could
if
just
done
be...
incorrectly, it could be the worst Pokemon game in a long while. Like, it heavily depends on how Game Freak decided to structure this.
Alright. What's the release? It's 4 days, you said?
18th, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
then.
4 days, November 18th.
That's going to be fun.
Agree. Especially because I have to try and buy it and then try to afford us going on our trip.
And then still find the time to play it.
Yeah. But anyways, the last thing I want to talk about, because I saw a video about this earlier, unless you have more, the YouTube Hall of Fame. If they were to release a YouTube Hall of Fame, I want you to give me 5 picks
For like first going in automatically. Yeah. You would want to put PewDiePie in there, but you can't. Like it's such a.
I think whatever about what happened in his later career, he still gets it. Like
yeah, like he was YouTube for the longest time.
Yeah, that's like a O.J. Simpson. That's great that he maybe killed this person,
but he's still one of the best.
On field, he was still great.
Yeah, I think he has to, like, you have to put him in there.
PewDiePie absolutely goes in.
I think Jack and Mark also go in.
I would agree. Mark would be like my maybe not. Like if I have to cut one, it's Mark.
I think because of Unis Honest,
okay,
that pushes him into like he has to be there. But that trio is just so iconic to YouTube.
I agree.
Aside from that, I mean, I assume we're doing channels?
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be my off take.
Okay.
Hank and John Green with the Vlogbrothers channel.
Okay. Vlogbrothers Crash Course.
Whatever channel you decide.
Whichever one.
But they have been a staple of YouTube.
Agree.
For forever.
Hard
now.
agree. Yes.
And I mean, honestly,
they started DFTBA.
Yeah. They just
most channels that have recently started or started within like even the past 10 years, if they use like a shop of some sort, it's DFTBA.
Yeah. They deserve recognition beyond compare. And then 5th pick,
especially because if somebody didn't know a lot about them, you could walk up to them and be like, "Hey, did you know that the guy who runs Crash Course U.S. History or Crash Course World History wrote The Fault in Our Stars?" Yeah,
like their media presence is so large.
It's like
that every so often I'll watch a video and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we also do this." I'm like, "That's you guys too."
It's like the Awesome Science Club, DFTBA, Vlogbrothers,
Crash Course,
Dear Hank and John, Crash Course.
The books.
Oh my god. They're so... whatever. Anyways, so that's 4.
I mean, YouTube, if it's YouTube picking them out, I'm sure they would do some dumb thing, like throw T-Series, Cocomelon, 5 Minute Crafts, one of those big conglomerate channels.
I could see T-Series doing it just because they beat PewDiePie.
Yeah. But I could definitely, like, if it's a YouTuber's Hall of Fame, we clearly don't want those big channels. If it's a YouTube Hall of Fame, completely different story. I think Filthy Frank definitely deserved to be in there, but I don't think he would be put in there because his content's always been very...
pushing the envelope.
Yes.
Okay.
But another person that's been popular for forever now.
I would say I think you've missed a couple of big ones and a couple of my off picks. My biggest off pick, Dude Perfect.
Oh my god, yeah, you're so right. That's another thing that like it doesn't matter where you were for the past 15 years, you've seen a Dude Perfect video. That's a lot of kids' gateways into YouTube as well.
100%. Dan TDM.
Okay.
Popular MMOs.
Okay.
Those two I think get in without question. I do think...
I forgot Dude Perfect was the thing. That's a number 1 pick too.
I think either Logan or Jake.
Yeah.
Like, not for our generation.
But for the newer generation who's been raised on YouTube.
But for like either of our sisters' generations or something like that. Like, they were pretty big for them.
You'd have to do both too.
I think they were both. I think
Jake was more popular earlier on, but Logan's definitely the more popular brother. In my
I
opinion.
believe they have a channel together, so...
I still think Logan's the more prominent one currently.
And then...
But they also both have their share of slip-ups. Oh, yes. He's another, like, face... He is the current face of YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even... Isn't he like 100 million subscribers now?
Probably.
What does his count?
Do they still do the buttons? I think they stopped doing them after T-Series. They
stopped doing it for... They didn't do one for Mr. Beast, I know that. Which is...
I think they started doing them for, like, higher subscriber counts now because, like, once T-Series beat PewDiePie, it was like... Well, there are a lot of people hitting these, like, low marks.
Yeah. Like, it's getting to the point where YouTube has such a big population that hitting 100,000 viewers or 100,000 subscribers is completely different than it was 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
no question.
Everybody watches YouTube now.
Yeah.
Like, from 2-year-olds to 90-year-olds, everybo's on it.
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, it was like you had to be a teenager to really be on YouTube.
What is... Hold on.
111-ish million.
Is that Mr. Beast?
Yes.
Okay.
Has he overtaken PewDiePie?
Is PewDiePie's channel still active?
He posted like 3 days ago.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Jacksepticeye has 28.8 million subscribers. I remember watching his 8 million subscriber, like, special.
It's definitely...
It's like the platform has grown, and by proxy, a lot of people have grown.
Exactly.
It's like Mr. Beast started after Jack and took off.
Listen, that's one of those where you watch it, it's like, how did you grow this quickly? Because it's been like, what, 4 years, and he went from 1 million to 100 million?
I don't know, but if he wants to tell us the secrets, be my guest.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to complain.
But yeah, he's one of those you have to...
So if we have to choose an inducting class, it's going to be PewDiePie, Jack, Mark,
Mr.
Beast, Dude Perfect,
the Greens.
Yeah, Pauls.
Mr. Beast is over PewDiePie now.
Interesting. PewDiePie also lost a lot, though.
Yeah. I mean, he's still at 111.
Whatever. The Pauls, Popular MMOs, Dan TDM.
Yeah.
One more.
For 10?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying... Like, my brain immediately goes to who's been around a forever long time and still create... MatPat would be a great pick, too.
Game Theory?
Yes.
I could see that one. I would split it between Game Theory and Technoblade.
Oh, if they put Technoblade in... That honestly...
Technoblade captivated an audience, but... This might sound insensitive, but he wasn't around for long.
Yes. Oh, I completely agree. If he hadn't passed away and he kept producing content, it would be an insane level he could have got to.
Absolutely.
But I definitely think... And he was one of the people, like... There's always the argument, like, who brought Minecraft back. He's definitely one of the people that pushed that envelope super hard.
I think, like... We have Dan TDM and Popular MMOs in there. They were, like, the original segment, and then you had, like...
The Rebirth.
Yeah.
And I think Technoblade was the Minecraft YouTuber for the Rebirth.
Oh, 100%. You also have a couple of my other off picks, especially for Minecraft YouTubers. That whole, like, Bajan Canadian, Jerome ASF, Husky Mudkips, Sun
I liked Lachlan a lot, too. The Australian one. I loved him.
Like, that whole crew in there, Modi 101.
Vicstar.
Yeah.
They all definitely have their place
100%.
in YouTube's history.
Yes.
We're also definitely missing one of those guys. And I don't know which one.
I can see his skin. I can think of his voice. I cannot think of his name.
I completely agree. He's Canadian, right?
Yes.
Oh my god. Wolfels?
Yes.
That's his name. Okay. I couldn't think of it. Yeah, all of those people who, like, built Minecraft, Captain Sparkles, definitely deserves that spot. Like, day spot.
But I think Game Theory, Film Theory, honestly, I don't like Food Theory, but it is what it is.
MatPat deserves a spot in there. I assume Film Theory would get it. Or Game Theory.
Game Theory would get it, yeah. Game Theory has just been around the longest.
Yeah. Now we can get Austin in there, too.
But GT Live is GT Live, Film Theory, and Game Theory, as a collective, deserve that spot.
Yeah.
Food Theory, I guess, has its place.
Guess it has to be in there.
Yeah.
They decided to do that.
It is.
They needed to finish
Matt,
the
Pat,
circle.
and Stephanie.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got anything else?
I think I'm all good.
All right. So I guess that's the end of the first episode then.
All right.
Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week.